Let me ask you something honest. When was the last time you actually did what you planned the night before? You set the alarm. You had the intention. You even felt ready. Then, the morning came, and you negotiated with yourself like a lawyer until the whole plan collapsed. Sound familiar? Here's what nobody tells you about time. You do not have a shortage of it. You have a leakage problem. And the biggest leak in your day happens before most people even open their eyes. This is the story of a man who had nothing but 2 hours. And those 2 hours changed everything. His name is Marco, 28 years old, living in Melbourne, Australia, working as a warehouse loader for a distribution center on the outskirts of the city, moving stock from 5 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon, 5 days a week. Marco was not lazy. That is the part that made it worse. He worked hard every single day, enough to cover rent in a shared house with 3 other guys he barely knew, enough to keep his car running, not enough to feel like any of it was going anywhere. He ate the same cheap meals, wore the same rotation of clothes, watched the same money disappear every fortnight before he could do anything meaningful with it. Every afternoon he came home stiff, sat on the edge of his bed, scrolled his phone for an hour without absorbing anything, then either watched something until he fell asleep or just fell asleep, then woke up and did it again. Same warehouse, same boxes, same salary, same ceiling. He had a plan once. He wanted to learn web development, had watched a few tutorials, downloaded an app to practice coding, tried it a couple of times on his days off, but focus never came. There was always something pulling at his attention. A message, a distraction, a reason to do it tomorrow instead. Marco told himself the same thing every month. When work slows down, I will find the time. When I save enough, I will take a proper course. When life lines up, I will be ready. Life never lined up. The turning point came on a Wednesday. Not dramatic, not cinematic. Just a Wednesday when his shift ended early, and he stopped at a cafe near the warehouse before driving home. He sat with a coffee and noticed a guy about his age at the corner table. Laptop open. Noise-canceling headphones on. Completely locked in. Not browsing. Actually building something. Marco watched him for a few minutes, then looked at the time. 7:45 in the morning. He leaned over. "Sorry, mate, are you working right now, or just passing time?" The guy looked up and pulled one headphone off. "Working. I do this every morning before 9. Best 2 hours of my day. After 9, my phone starts, and I lose the thread." Marco asked what he did. Freelance developer. Started learning 18 months ago. Does it full-time now. Marco drove home thinking about one thing the guy said. Before 9, my phone starts, and I lose the thread. He thought about his own mornings. He started work at 5, so his alarm was 4:15. Rush, eat, drive, load boxes. His mornings were owned entirely by someone else. Not a single minute of them belonged to him. But his afternoons. He was home by 2:30 every day. That was the gap. Not morning for him. Afternoon. 2:30 to 4:30. Before the evening noise started. Before dinner and scrolling, and the slow drift towards sleep. He had just never claimed it. He almost talked himself out of it before he even tried. You're tired after the shift. Your body needs to recover. 2 hours of coding when your brain is half dead will not produce anything useful. But something about that guy in the cafe stayed with him. He was not working in perfect conditions either. He was in a public cafe before 8 in the morning, doing something that clearly mattered to him. Conditions were never going to be perfect. Marco knew that. He had been waiting for perfect for 2 years already. He got home that Wednesday and opened his laptop instead of his phone. The first week was rough, and he is not going to pretend otherwise. He sat at the kitchen table while his housemates slept or watched TV in the next room. He followed a free HTML course on YouTube. Most of it confused him. He rewound the same 5-minute section 4 times on day 2. Made notes in a worn notebook he found in a drawer. He gave himself one rule. Just sit down. Do not measure progress. Just show up and stay for 2 hours. By day 10, something clicked. Not everything. Just enough. The structure of the code started making visual sense. He built his first web page. It was a plain white page with black text and one image that did not load properly. He saved a screenshot of it anyway. He kept going. By the end of the first month, Marco had finished 2 beginner courses. He had a folder on his desktop with small projects, each one slightly less broken than the last. He stopped dreading the 2 hours and started protecting them. Housemates learned not to bother him between 2:30 and 4:30. That was his time. He joined an online community for beginner developers, posted his work, got feedback, improved. In month 3, someone in the community asked if anyone could help build a basic website for their small business. Nothing complex, just clean and functional. Marco responded. They went back and forth. He built it over 4 evenings during his protected hours. The client paid him $300. He sat with that number for a long time. $300 for something he built himself. Something that did not exist until he made it. He put it toward a paid course and kept going. By month 6, Marco was picking up small freelance jobs, consistently on the side. By month 10, he had built enough of a portfolio and enough of a client base to have a genuine conversation about whether the warehouse was still necessary. It was not. He handed in his notice on a Tuesday morning, before his shift started. Not because 2 hours a day is magic, but because 2 hours a day compounded over 10 months is not 2 hours. It is a completely different version of yourself. Here is the truth. Nobody wants to say plainly, you already have the time, you have always had it, you gave it to the algorithm, you gave it to the snooze button, you gave it to the television, you gave it to everyone who wanted something from you, before you wanted something from yourself. The quiet hours are not valuable because of some mystical focus energy. They are valuable because they are the one window in the day that is genuinely yours before the world starts making demands. No requests yet. No urgency. No noise. Just you and whatever you're trying to build. Most people will never find out what they are actually capable of because they never give themselves uninterrupted time to find out. So here is what I'm asking you to do. Tonight, before you sleep, identify your 2 hours. Not mine, yours. Maybe it is early morning before the house wakes up. Maybe it is a window in your afternoon. Maybe it is late at night, when everything finally goes quiet. Find the window that actually exists in your life right now, and claim it. When it comes tomorrow, do not think about it. Just sit down. Open whatever you have been meaning to learn. The course, the skill, the thing you keep saying you will get to someday. Work on it for the full window, without social media, and without distraction. Do that for 30 days, and do not measure results. Just measure consistency. Did you show up? That is the only question for the first month. 2 hours a day is 730 hours a year. That is more time than most people spend on anything they actually chose for themselves. Marco did not have better circumstances. He had a physically draining job, a shared house, a tight budget, and zero background in technology. He just decided that one window of his day would belong to his future, and not to anyone or anything else. The question is not whether you have 2 hours. The question is who you are currently giving them to. If you're ready to take them back, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment right now, and tell me what you're going to build in your first 2 hours. I will be checking.